Evan, go ahead and talk about the atmosphere and what you guys were able to do to kind of take care of business in an environment like this.
Yeah, I mean, everybody on the team, we haven't played, even people that have been here last year, we've never played in an environment like that at Millette. And, when everybody comes out, we were so excited for this game because we've been hearing, a lot of people are going to be coming, this place is going to be packed, and it was. And I think we really fed off that energy, especially when we went on our runs. A lot of the crowd fed into that, so I think that helped us out a lot.
The physicality from start to finish, talk about that and what that did to kind of change some of the game's aspects.
Yeah, so after Akron, they were way more physical than us, and that's not who we've been, that's not who we are, and we realized we needed to change from that. And, we watched the film in here, we understood that, they were way more physical than us. So that was really, an important key, going into practice against Eastern and then continuing against Ohio.
Evan, how does the environment, the noise change the communication style on the court when you're not able to hear as much as you would normally at Millette?
I think it helps a lot. I haven't really been at Millette when, somebody's dribbling up the court and, looking around, they can't really tell what's going on. So seeing that, I think that helps us a lot.
35 points off the bench tonight, including 14 from yourself. How did the bench get involved in this game so early and often?
I think it's just, who we have. No one's caring how many points they actually score. The only thing we care about is how many points are up on the scoreboard as a team. So, when everybody's mindset is like that, different guys have different nights. And I think that's really important because, we have a really deep team. Coach emphasizes that a lot, and I agree with him.
Can you tell us briefly about that last field goal that you made where, game was tight and you just took it down the gut there and put the layup up? Did you have any thoughts about it ahead of time, or was it something that just opened up to you?
It just opened up to me, but my teammates have been telling me the whole game and the whole year, coaches as well. They have the most confidence in me. So when that many people, are rooting for you, believe in you, it's really not that hard to go make a play.
You guys have a double-digit lead at one point in the second half. It starts to slip away, tight game. You get into foul trouble at the end with Pete and Antoine fouling out. How are you guys able to keep your heads on straight and pull this one out in the end?
Yeah, we got to be better, especially, we're still yet to put 40 minutes together, like Coach says. We got a little sloppy at the end of the second half, but I think it still says a testament to who our team is. We still got this win, and I think that's very important.
With what they're running, with Clayton being gone and that, missing a couple guys, you got a lot of guards running around out there. I imagine that, was quite a challenge for the guards that you have as well.
Obviously Clayton and Hadaway both being out, they got to go a little bit smaller. They lost their size. So it's more of an up and down game, even if we score, make or miss, Pavlesky's getting that ball and he's running down the floor. So, I think them not having their bigs kind of affect them a little bit, but, they found a way to play.
All right. First off, I want to say thank you to President Crawford and Renata Crawford for having won Miami. Great day, obviously, for just Miami University and getting all the alumni back, all the students. That's the loudest our arena's been since I've been here. I'll never forget the first game I came out. It was against Evansville, year one. Man, you could hear a pin drop, like literally. There may have been it seemed like 30 people in the building. To be able to see it kind of grow during this time frame, man, it's been a lot of fun. Give our students a lot of credit for getting out here tonight. Again, we need to keep them in here, right, to make Millette the hardest place to play in the MAC. Our team really thrives off it and feeds off of it, so really need to keep those students going. I thought the game is obviously a rivalry game, man. I thought it was an ugly game in a lot of ways. We were saddled with a lot of foul trouble, whether it was Antoine, whether it was Pete, whether it was Ian, whether it was Evan, a lot of guys, but we do have a lot of depth. We got to finish the game, though. It's the same thing that happened, I thought, against Eastern Michigan. We get up by how many ever points it was. I think it was 14, I believe, but and we just kind of stalled out offensively. They were switching a lot of things. They went small. They didn't have their traditional 5 in, and they were switching everything. And I thought we really stalled out during that little segment, and that's when they went on their big run. And I got to help them get better solutions in the moment against switching. At the end, we decided to foul. We foul anywhere between 3 and 11 seconds. That's what we call smack. All the analytical data would show that that's the right thing to do. I should not have had Evan Ipsaro in there, just to be quite honest. I had no idea he had 4. We got to be better as a staff, and I got to know that he's got 4, so he's in the game to finish and close it. So we're fortunate in that aspect in a lot of ways. Like I said, we got a ton of depth, which is an absolute luxury. But any win against a rival team like Ohio's is a great win. And give Ohio a lot of credit, man. They never quit. They played hard the entire time. They got down. They kept fighting. Coach Bowles does a great job, man. You can tell they have a great culture, and they got great kids.
With Clayton and their two of their main guys out, how much different was it preparation-wise to play this team? I mean, they got kind of like a 4-guard offense going out there, very quick hands, tough defense and that, and, driving to the bucket. How much of a different kind of a problem, I guess?
Yeah, well, it's difficult because you never know who's going to play, so you don't know what to prepare for. Right, so that's one of the hardest things as a coach. It's like, well, they play very differently, I feel like, offensively and defensively if those guys were playing, right? Like, very differently. So you don't know what to prepare for. Do you prepare for Clayton to play? Well, you have to, right? He's an elite shot maker. They do guard differently when he's in the game too, to be quite frank. So that made it difficult. And then we found out he wasn't playing, obviously, during the warm-ups. He was in his sweatsuit. And, he's a great kid, man. He's a great player. Hadaway's a great player. They got a lot of depth. They're one of the there's a handful of teams in the MAC that have the depth that we have. They're one of them, right? They got a lot of good players. They got a lot of different guys that can do it. They got guys coming off the bench that could start on a lot of these other teams in the MAC. Coach Bowles has done a great job of recruiting high-character guys, versatile guys that can impact the game in different ways. But it's not easy. It's a war of attrition in a lot of ways. Like, we were obviously down Ian last game. You see it all across college basketball, man. It's the next man mentality, and I'm sure that's what they had. That was their mentality going into the game. Those guys are out. Boom, you play.
Coach Brant Byers missed that free throw to give OU a chance to tie it, and then gets fouled again and has to step up and make 2 more and makes both of them. What can you say about his resilience to step up in that spot and make those shots?
Yeah, he didn't have his best day offensively, Brant, and give Ohio a lot of credit. Man, they did a good job contesting stuff, but he's a tough kid, man. He never becomes flustered. Sometimes you just want to see if you can get a reaction out of him, right? It's like, man, come on, crack a smile. Can you get mad every once in a while? No, but Brant's just even-keeled, man. He's the same guy every single day. His habits are elite. They're elite, and that's what people don't see, obviously. You see the results in the game, but he's one of the best shooters in the country because of the work that he puts in.
Last minute, 2 big plays stood out to me offensively. It was the Potter to is it Elmer?
Ian.
Yeah,
Backdoor.
that back door, and then you had Ipsaro just up driving to the lane. I mean, just those 2 plays right there offensively just seemed like they just gave you guys a boost.
Yeah, we needed it. We were struggling. I thought we'd stalled out offensively. They were really trying to pressure us, playing 5 guards, switch everything, heat us up during those moments, and we struggled with it. We got to be better. And I got to be better. I got to give our guys more solutions. But Coach Holmes, our staff, said, "Hey, Coach, what about a back door?" And I said, "That's a great idea." Boom. So we got a great staff, man. And got a layup off of it, obviously, with Ian. Great pass by Reese. And then Evan's just a warrior, man. I mean, God, dog, man. He's one of the smallest guys on the court, but, man, he plays way bigger than his height. You feel Evan Ipsaro out there, man. Just his effort, his intensity, he's just tough. He's a dog, man. So he made some big plays for us all game, but specifically at the end, he had a big-time drive as well.
Coach, first half. Oh, do you want to? No. First half, around that 7-minute mark, close game, 24-22. Luke Scaljack is able to hit back-to-back threes to give you guys a boost right there. How big was that for sparking that run that you guys would go on to end the first half?
Yeah, it was huge. Luke, it's funny. Luke has been injured a lot here during MAC play. As a freshman, it's difficult to overcome at times to get your rhythm back. So happy for him to have some success tonight because his trajectory is really. He's got a really high ceiling for us, and he's a dynamic playmaker, shot maker for us that a lot of teams don't have. The sky is literally the limit for him. But he made a huge couple plays, had a big rebound pitch ahead as well for a layup. He made some big-time plays tonight. Didn't look like a freshman in that game.
Then you talked about the crowd and the environment here. Tight game down the stretch. You've got guys that are dealing with foul trouble, fouling out. How much does it say about the team that they were able to stay locked in and pull out a close game?
Yeah, it's big. The crowd was tremendous. Like I said, man, but it could be that way every day, every game. That's how it can be. And it takes I'm really close with the Sampsons down at Houston. I coached with him at both of them at Indiana. And it's funny, Kellen Sampson, he said the other day, he said, man, year 3, we had a crowd of about 700 people for our Tulsa game. He said, I'll never forget it. So he said, and now you see what Houston is now, right? Obviously, incredible facility. Every game's sold out. They're top 5. They're probably one of the, if not the most consistent program in the country over the last 5 years, or right there. At least I don't know who else would be more consistent. But it takes time to build it. It takes marketing. It takes winning, putting a product out there that people are proud enough of, to come and watch. The experience factor. When you got an experience like that, it's like, man, as a kid, it's like, I want to come back to that. That's fun. I had a great time, right? And so we want to create memories that last forever. You know, I hear about all the alumni. They always say, hey, listen, we remember when Wally played, like Wally was back today. The games were packed. The environment was crazy. You know, what's happened at Miami? It's just been a long time. It takes time. It takes a lot of effort. But we need to continue to have that moving forward. And because I do think we have a really nice team. Our guys play really hard. They're fun to watch. They play the right way. And they're good dudes, man. They fit Miami. They really fit.
This is a weekend around the country where there are a lot of rivalry games.
Yeah.
Carolina, Indiana, Purdue. We often talk about rivalries in football, but how important are rival games and rivalries in basketball?
They're huge. You know, I've coached it. You know, obviously when I started out at Ohio State, you had Ohio State, Michigan, and it's maybe a little bit bigger football rivalry than it is basketball. But Indiana, I was there for a couple of years, man. It was Indiana, Purdue, Xavier, Cincinnati, man. There was probably not a bigger, more hatred rivalry than that. But when I came here, I was like, man, I didn't really know a ton, quite honestly, about the Miami, Ohio, the Battle of the Bricks. I didn't know a ton about it. And, man, so we went there year 1, and I was like, oh, my God. I was like, is it like this every game here? Like, they did everything for it. Like, they had, I think it was the Army Day. They had everything. Everything was put into that one game, man, and it was an awesome atmosphere at Ohio. And I was like, man, so this thing is a huge deal. Like, people really do care about this thing. It's true. And Carl Richburg on our staff's a former player here, and he would talk about it, and you hear former players talk about it, you know, how much this game means to them. And it's great, man. That's why you spend all these hours in the gym, in the weight room, conditioning, getting up at 5 a.m. when nobody's watching. You do that for these moments like this, you know. And we, again, like I don't know what I would do if you don't have a rivalry, to be quite honest. That's what you work towards, man. These are fun games. And like I said, I have a ton of respect for Ohio. I really do. Jeff Bowles has done a great job there, and he's built something that's sustainable. He's got a great culture. In a lot of ways, we've kind of taken some of what they do and kind of brought some of that stuff here. And because I do think they're the other school most similar maybe to Miami in our league in a lot of ways. And albeit maybe we're a higher ranked academic school, and I think we're a more beautiful campus. But he does a great job, man. And that makes it a great rivalry. It's only a good rivalry if both people are good. If it's slanted, I think it's been slanted for a while. All right, like Ohio's dominated us for a while, so like that's not a rivalry. Or you both got to be good, and they're good, and they've been banged up, but they still fight, they still play hard, they still play the right way, they're well coached, and that makes it a fun game. Sorry for a long answer there.
Coach, with the win today, you guys clinch a winning record for the rest of the season. So that's the first time that's happened since the COVID-shortened season of 2021. But before that, the last time that happened was 2008, 2009, when Charlie Coles was still coaching the team. You talk a lot about building something here, and you've really left your mark here. I mean, with 10 games to play, but while that isn't the end goal, talk about just how good it feels to finally have a winning record again.
Yeah, I mean, last 2 years have been hard, man. I'll be honest. It's my hairline would probably say that too. Man, it's hard, man. When you lose, man, it's difficult, man. You got to get yourself off the mat. And I've told myself over and over, it's about year 3. You got to build slow. You got to build it the right way with the right people. You have to play young guys. Got to kind of get smacked around a little bit, and we've done that. We've done that. Well, now it's our time to do that. Right? There's no reason why it can't be sustainable here. With President Crawford's leadership, David Saylor's leadership, I just signed an extension because I believe in those guys and the vision that they have moving forward for our program. I'm pleased. I wouldn't say I'm I'm not complacent, though. All right. The saying we always use around with our staff is, man, we're not where we want to be, but we're sure as hell not where we were either when I took over. We want to win championships. We want to play in March. We want to play in the NCAA tournament. We want to be one of those teams that you got to fill in on the brackets, right? Everybody's done since they were little. At least I did when I was little. Every year you'd fill out a bracket. And I remember when I used to ride in Miami, right? And when Wally played and all these guys played, man, it's been done here before. You see the rafters, the banners up there, man. It's been done here before. And so it can happen here. But we just got to be all pulling in the same direction. We got to believe. We need some energy. We got to get the right people on the bus, which we have the right people on the bus. From a staff standpoint, from a player standpoint, we do. So, but again, we're definitely not complacent, though, about where we are.
Do you have, or do you think Cam and Pete have some competition with Reese pulling up from beyond the arc like that, like he did today?
Yeah. Potter, I tell you what, man, he not many guys can shoot the ball like he does, being at 7'1". I'm going to tell you that. He really puts you in a bind defensively because it's like, do you switch his ball screen? Do you hedge it? And then you're getting in rotation. In the space on the floor, I always say great spacing leads to great decisions, right? Bad space leads to cluttered decisions and usually leads to a lot of turnovers and bad plays. So Reese, when he's out there, man, the spacing on the floor is just different. It just really is. He allows us to play a lot of 5 out. And it helps not only him, but it helps all of his teammates as well.
I'm going to reference Charlie Coles for you. In one of the pressers, he told us afterwards, after the game, he says, if they knew they were going to have a turnover, I'd rather them just throw the ball up in the stands rather than have a live ball turnover and score. If you look at the stats, it's pretty close in total turnovers, 13-12, but they outscore you 13-2 and points off turnovers. Fortunately, most of those were at the beginning. I imagine part of that's with them having like a 4 guards and very quick hands. But I guess that's something you'd like to clean up some.
Absolutely. Listen, that was the only way they were scoring in the first half, to be quite frank. I mean, they weren't scoring in the half court very much. We told her, you just got to be strong with the ball. You got to be sure with your passes. You got to get open. You got to have good leads, outside hand on a pass. They were heating us up like crazy, and I thought that was effective, right? They were able to get runouts, and you can't do that. You got to be able to get your defense set. To Coach Coles' point, if your defense isn't getting set, man, it's got no shot. And I have a feeling right now, Coach Coles is smiling down right now, right? What he put into this program, what Coach Hedrick, I think all different players and coaches, man. It's I think he's smiling. And he's probably really, really proud and really happy. But like I said, he's probably not complacent. He's like, hey, man, what are we doing next game mentality, right? And that's going to be Central Michigan. It's always the next thing. That's always the biggest thing. So, but we do play for all those that came before him. I think his wife, Dolores, was here tonight, I believe, as well. So we really appreciate her coming and being in attendance.
Congratulations on the extension, Coach.
Thanks.
Can you run us through the process on why you're staying?
Yeah. I'd say, number one, I've said this before, but it's a reflection on having the right people on the bus, right? We have incredible players and human beings in our locker room. They do it. They do the work. I got an incredible staff. Jonathan Holmes is ready to be a head coach. He was ready to be a head coach probably 10 years ago, to be quite frank. Christian Smith's going to be a really good head coach, future head coach. Carl Richburg does a great job. Elijah Pennington, Landon Hoover, Elmore, Carsey. All of our academic support. It takes a village, man. It really does. And it's, I'm kind of just the CEO. I'm making sure everything's humming the right way and pulling in the same direction. But they deserve all the credit, man. That's what I told them, because their guys were really excited about it, obviously, when it got announced. And I said, man, you guys deserve all the credit. You guys are the guys that are doing it, making all the plays out there on the floor, putting all the work in, playing the right way, putting the team first. I mean, they're so coachable. Such an easy group to coach, man. It really is. It's a lot of fun.
You've had great depth all year long. 9 guys playing in double-figure minutes today. Again, all 9, 11-plus minutes. But you outscore Ohio by 22 in bench points. How much of a boost is that when Ian and Mackay aren't scoring that much, to have Ipsaro and Brant and guys like that?
Yeah, it's huge. I mean, strength in numbers is what we talk about all the time. It's different guys, different nights. The open guy is going to be the go-to guy. Like it's gonna like I told Luke the other day, man, it's gonna happen for you. This is gonna be the breakthrough game, to get you back on track. He's too dang good of a player. I mean, just is, man. He was a huge recruit for us from Ohio. Man, he had all these offers in the MAC. Like it was a big. I mean, he's a big time player. It's gonna happen for him. I got all the confidence in the world in all those guys, whether it's Brant, whether it's Reese, whether it's Evan. I mean, we have 9 starters. Any of those guys could start.